In this video, you will learn what to do before, during and after a test. Show up to class, especially on review days. By going to class, you will get all the notes you need. You can also pick up on what the professor thinks is important and know exactly what to study, which will save you time in the long run. Rewrite your notes as soon as possible after class. You can use mapping and diagramming with colors to help you distinguish between important topics in your notes. Make a note sheet or note cards to study important topics of vocabulary words when you have a few minutes, such as in between classes. Talk with your professor. Ask them what is on the test and ask if you can have an old test to study with. You can also clarify anything you don't understand. Have plenty of time to study and don't wait until last minute to cram. You probably won't have time to get your questions answered. Studying in chunks is easier to group information together. Studying regularly will also help you put information into your long-term memory. Don't cram. You won't remember material as long, which may hurt you for a cumulative test or in class if you need to know things like definitions. Find a quiet area to study so that you can concentrate. Take regular study breaks so that your mind can get a rest. Study with a partner or group. Explain the answer to a question to a friend. If you can teach it, you can master it faster. Get a good night's sleep. You may think it is a good idea to stay up late studying, but you may be tired the next morning, meaning you are less able to concentrate on the test, or you may oversleep in the morning, causing more stress. Eat a good meal before the test and drink plenty of water. Your brain can focus on the test instead of your stomach. Go to the bathroom before you enter the classroom. You may not be able to re-enter the classroom, and it also wastes valuable test time. Be early to the test. You can ask the professor questions you have, and the professor may give out hints or other information about the test. You can also spend a few minutes studying or relaxing. Make sure you have all the resources you are able to use. This could include a calculator or an approved note sheet. Write down your name, date, section and any other pertinent information such as formulas down first so you do not forget to do so. If the professor does not know whose test they are grading, they may not give credit. Do a memory dump. As soon as you get the test, write down information you may need later on during the test, such as formulas, dates, and names. If you write them down in the margins, you can focus on the test better, and you do not have to worry about forgetting the information. Read and follow the directions. They may give you hints or tell you how to complete each problem. For example, you may need to select more than one answer on a multiple choice test. Keep your eyes on your own paper. The professor may not allow you to finish your test and/or give you a 0%, or you could have more serious repercussions. Write legibly. If the professor cannot read it, it will most likely be marked incorrect. Read or skim through the whole test first. Some questions may hint at answers for others. Budget time for each question. Some questions, such as an essay question, will take more time than a multiple choice question, so make sure you know how much time you have for each question. Check how many points each question is worth. A question worth more points may have more steps or need more information. Do problems you know how to do, starting with problems with them worth the most points first. By starting with problems with the most points first, you will receive more points. If you get stuck, mark the question to come back to later. Make sure you read the whole question carefully. Don't assume you know what it's asking for a few words in. Stick with your first choice or answer. Usually your first answer is correct, but in some questions, such as multiple choice questions, the most common incorrect answer may be a choice. With this in mind, your professor will not try to trick you into an incorrect answer. Only change the answer if you misread or misinterpreted the question. Your first answer is usually correct. If there is no penalty for guessing, write down an educated guess. You are more likely to get partial credit for having something written down. Ask for clarification. You may know the answer to a question, but the wording of the question may be throwing you off. Don't worry if others finish before you. Take your time and don't rush and make mistakes. Some people are faster test takers, and they are able to answer questions quicker. Some students may not know how to answer some of the questions and may have left them blank. Look over your test before handing it in. Make sure that you have answered each question. Read through each answer and make sure it is complete and answers what the question asked for. Double check to make sure your name and other important information is on the test. Is your name on the test? Check for any grading mistakes. You can earn back some points if a question was counted incorrect but should be correct, bringing up your grade. Make sure you understand the mistakes you made. Talk to the professor or your classmate about what you missed on the test, as the material may show up on a later test, or you may need to know the material to be able to learn and apply a new material. Analyze how you did. What types of questions did you do poorly on? Was there a topic you did poorly on? Make notes about the test for future reference, especially if the professor reviews in class. This could include answers to test questions and how the professor grades. Save your test as a study guide for future tests. You can see the types of questions the professor asks, and some of the material may be the same. Tests can seem scary at first, but once you get in the habit of taking advantage of the tips in this video, you will become an expert test taker. Make sure to keep in mind what you should do before, after, and during a test, and don't be afraid to speak with your teacher or professor about your grades and tests.